Donnchadh, like, it ended up 3-14 to Dublin, 1-10 to Mayo, but like for the last 25 minutes that game was over. Maybe even 5 minutes in the second half was game over.
Yeah, it felt like Dublin did what they always did, and they hit that purple patch, and they made Mayo pay really dearly. And the thing about it was there was absolutely no sign of it in the first half. Dublin had been kept to, I think, 3 points in play. And then they came out and absolutely ripped Mayo apart. And it's very hard to put your finger on what it was. Like, there was nothing obvious change. Like, Con O'Callaghan got away from Lee Keegan a couple of times for the goals, and it just swung the momentum. And then suddenly, the thing we've been talking about in the build-up all week, that Mayo looked really heavy-legged, and it's probably as much psychological as physical, because they were 8 points down in the flash of an eye, having been 2 points up maybe 5 minutes earlier. So, like, it was absolutely awesome from Dublin. I was just live blogging there, and it was probably as slick as Dublin have been under Jim Gavin against major opposition. So incredible performance by them.
And just 3 points or 3 scores from Mayo in the second half. They were up 8-6 at half time. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Wexford against Tipperary a couple of weeks ago, whereby they had so much done in the first half that they just ran out of steam in the second half.
They just, like, Mayo were brilliant in the first half. We were talking about it, the amount of turnovers they got right in front of their own goal. Jack McCaffrey got turned over, Paul Mannion got turned over, Benton got turned over. You saw Michael Darragh McCauley retaliating and losing a free in for Dublin for a throw in. And like, that's the kind of stuff you never see Dublin doing, and they actually really had them rattled. But I think you're right, the amount of energy they were expending was huge, and eventually that caught up on them. And as soon as Dublin went ahead, even allowing for Lee Keegan's goal, you never felt like, I think that only brought it back to 7.
Yeah.
You never felt like they were going to do it.
Yeah, and like, it always felt like Mayo were doing everything right in the first half, patiently holding on to the ball, like forcing some brilliant turnovers. But when they got up to the top half of the field, now they did get some great scores in the first half, but too often they were giving the ball to someone who, and then 3 or 4 lads like this who you don't really want them to have the ball in an attacking position. Whereas Dublin, most of their players, they're happy if their guys have the possession because they know they get scores, whereas Mayo just lacking quality in too many players.
Yeah, and
bit harsh.
I'd probably a little bit harsh, because like James Carr kicked an absolutely wonderful point here in the first half under it. Took, I think it was Mick Fitzsimons on him at that stage, sold it on his right, stepped in on his left and turned it over the bar. But just the problem with Dublin is, and I think it was Colin Cooper made this point, is that Dublin essentially ignore what you're doing. So even though Mayo will put the squeeze on them all over the pitch, not for a minute were they like, in the second half they just come out and were a different team. They engineered a point here, it was a silly enough free that Mayo gave away, and off the ball pull, they would suddenly get them a handy free.
Yeah.
They were 1 point down, and like, Dublin don't need many invitations, they don't need any big sway of momentum or a piece of luck to go the way or refereeing decision to go the way. Any small thing at all, they grasp onto it and just to murder you. Like, they put their foot on your throat and they absolutely squeezed the life out of you and did it again. And like, Mayo are as streetwise as they come, and they couldn't put out the fire when Dublin started. Like, an incredible performance by Dublin in the second half, really.
Yeah. You'd have to compliment some of the players who, even when they weren't having a great game, they still managed to make an impact. Like, Kieran Kilkenny had as quiet a first half as I've ever seen him have. Had a tame shot just before the break that dropped into the keeper's hand. Even his second half wasn't great, but he set up 2 goals. Like, Con in the first half, like, he tried to take on Lee Keegan one-on-one, didn't really happen for him. Had a tame shot. Second half, now there was probably a bit of cuteness in the way he turned Lee Keegan, and Keegan ended up on the floor.
Yeah, you reckon there was a wee shove in the build-up?
I would never say that about Con.
You're a dear club mate.
He ended up with two goals. One where he spun him there, and the second time, quick free in, stood him up, took him on one-on-one and fired it home. But like, even Brian Howard, quiet for spells and still came into it. Niall Scully had fairly poor first half. Just amazing that these players, and whatever it is about their system, that no matter what happens, they still have the confidence to want to make an impact at some point.
Well, like, if you have inside forwards like they have, like Con O'Callaghan and Paul Mannion, like, you're not going to keep them quiet forever. Like, O'Callaghan was sort of pretty much blotted out of the game in the first half, wasn't really in it, and he probably won the game. Paul Mannion was absolutely excellent again, some of his point kicking, and like, people know he's very left-footed, and they know that he favours that 90% of the time, but stopping it's a bit like what Sean Kavanagh used to do with the little shuffle. Knowing he's going to do it and stopping are two very different things. He kicked one here from the wrong side for the left-footed kicker from under the Cusick stand. Then he kicked it from this side, a very different type of kick, but it was absolutely pinpoint deadly accurate. So like, they have like I would say that Jim Gavin knew all year that he was confident he was going to be in an Ireland semi-final, and this was the game that he wanted to have them right for. And now the first half there wasn't great, but as I say, the second half there was good. I just off the top of my head now, I might be overstating this, but off the top of my head I can't remember them being better than they were in that second half.
Like even Brian Fenton, another guy who had a very quiet
and he
first
kicked the
half.
wide, like, you know, like the stat about Fenton never losing a game, and then all of a sudden he's kicking wide, and you're thinking, geez, are these lads human? And they were getting turned over, all of them, and then they just turned it on. I'd love to know, like, we'll go down to Jim now and we'll find out what he said at half time. He won't tell us much, but he whatever he did at half time, be it player led or management led, or was there some subtle changes, because there was nothing obvious. I didn't see any massive change in personnel, what they were doing. I think they just clicked into gear. I'd say they just got a bit of a rollicking and then got back to their old selves. Like, and the other thing with this game, like, so you see the goals are being played on the screen here, and you can see the celebrations. Fenton and O'Callaghan.
I think
they
huge
enjoyed, moments.
I'd say they enjoyed
there's serious needle between those two teams. So they would have enjoyed that, and like regardless of who wins tomorrow, Jesus, they are the hottest of hot favourites.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think that's the end of the road for Mayo. Like, there's plenty of the players there that are in their mid to late 20s.
There's been a slight sort of in fairness to James Horan, I'd say they've shifted the load a little bit away from, say, you know, Patrick Durkin is. I know he's been around for a while, but he's been carrying a lot of weight. Like, and he put a lot of trust in the likes of Fionn McDonald, Fergal Boland,
like Kevin McLaughlin didn't start, Andy Moran didn't start, so some of those older guys weren't starting. Like, it didn't work with Donny Vaughan, he took him off after a half an hour. Diarmuid O'Connor probably rushed him back a bit too soon. Didn't happen.
100%. Yeah, so like there is a bit of Yvonne O'Donoghue there we've been talking about for a couple of years now, so you would imagine it's not the end of Mayo. They will still be ultra competitive next year. They're still, even no matter whoever you might lose now at the end of this year, I would still say they're going to be top 6. Because as you've seen from the Super 8s, the likes of Cork and Meath trying to come through, getting there and competing at that level is one thing, but winning at that level is another thing entirely. So I think like they have an awful lot of experience banked. They're not going anywhere now. I think maybe with time, I think Kerry will move up closer to Dublin. Tyrone aren't going anywhere, but no, Mayo are still in the top bracket of teams, I think, going into 2020.